This is what most people think of when they hear the word diplomacy. But for the Jewish state to break through to the Arab street, you've got to go digital. That's what the Ministry of Foreign Affairs Digital Diplomacy Department is built for.
It's a big department that oversees all of the digital assets of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, over 800 active accounts. And I think very much at the forefront of diplomacy today, digital diplomacy is.
We are the Arabic team. We are responsible for creating dialogue with the Arab audiences across all the Arab world. A lot of it is still hostile to Israel, but we are trying to do the best. We are one of a few ministries in the world that actually comment to our followers' comments. It's very important to us to speak with the audience and to give information and to answer questions. And we also do it by using the culture, the Arabic culture. So we know how to talk, how to give examples from the Quran and from Arabic text and to speak to a religious audience. But we also speak to a young audience.
Yes, Israeli ministers have been heading to Gulf state destinations with incredible regularity as of late. But how can the Digital Diplomacy Department measure its success?
So we see, especially in Instagram and YouTube, we have like almost 300% growth. Yeah, we see it in the comments, but we also see it in the traditional media. We see that a lot of newspapers in Egypt, in Iraq, in a lot of other countries in the Middle East take information from our social media accounts and publish it in their pages, in the newspapers, in the TV channels.
It's sometimes tough to keep the world's focus on the seemingly never-ending conflict in this region. Preceding a recent U.S.-led vote at the United Nations to condemn Hamas, the Digital Diplomacy Department developed a campaign to demonstrate Hamas's terrorist effect, something that Israelis live and breathe, but is far from obvious to those on the other side of the world.
It's not only not obvious, it's not interesting to them. So that's why we're trying to make it interesting, and we're trying to relate to things that matter to these people where they live. We're trying to connect it to things that they have heard about ISIS, about things that they've heard about and they care about or they're frightened about.
The department is also focused on higher brow material, like its recently introduced podcast.
It's a bi-monthly podcast in which users get to hear from diplomats, and it's an opportunity for users to hear an intimate conversation in which diplomats discuss all the wonderful things that they're doing on behalf of the State of Israel.
It's all part of a selection of weapons for the ministry to choose from as it wages diplomatic battle on the global stage.
I think that my department is on the front lines of that battle today, because a lot of what happens vis-a-vis Israel happens on social media first of all, and from there it migrates to the press, and then it migrates to the real world. So absolutely this is a battle, and it's one that we can't afford to lose.
So put away your notions of diplomacy. This is where it's at in the digital age. Mike Wagenheim, I-24 News, Jerusalem.